Good morning. Welcome to, I got to straighten myself out here. Welcome to the Carla Marie and Anthony Show. My name is Anthony. Carla Marie is getting some things prepared still. A little bit of an issue this morning with some cat throw up. I think one of the cats is sick. We're trying to figure out if it's more than one cat or just one cat. We'll figure it out. And we are going to talk about these jerseys coming up. I know, let's see. Let me see if I can angle this down just a little bit. These are, what was that? Okay, Max has to be monitored, so she's going to be hanging with us for a little bit, hanging next to Pikachu as well. Good there, Carla Marie?
No, I need my booster.
Your booster? Oh,
seat.
Okay. Well, now that we are here, good morning, everybody. Carla Marie, good morning to you.
Good morning, Anthony.
It's a very colorful sweater you got there.
It's a rental.
Oh, another rental, huh?
Yeah.
Also, you can see it on the list right now. 8:35, we are going to be doing a You Look Great giveaway. Now, we do have
A bean.
this really cool beanie. If you don't want a beanie, we've got a backpack, and then we've got some clothing as well. We'll figure all of that out once we find our winner and give them the option to raid our closet, basically. Not our actual closet. But
Are you foreshadowing with that beanie?
no. Am I supposed to be?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you being weird?
Let's just say everyone should be here Monday morning.
Okay. Well, I guess we should say everyone should be here Monday morning.
Actually, normally today is the day that we would do that.
We're not doing anything right. We're not doing You Look Great stuff right now.
Just saying.
Okay. Also, things we're going to talk about today, things we should change about the elections. And this is not this has nothing to do with the actual politicians or even most of the ballot things on the ballot. It's more about the ballots and how we go about all of this, because I know our friends in Connecticut just got the option now with this most recent election to vote early. In Connecticut,
What we do?
you
Like physically early? Like in person early or drop?
I think in person early.
That happened in Jersey too, I think, because someone was messaging me saying that the ballot machines went down on Saturday in New Jersey.
Yes. Yeah, that's a newer thing. But in Connecticut, everyone had to vote on Tuesday. And I know that's changing in a lot of places. Also, the gym yeller. This is an update from something I talked about a couple times over the summer.
This is cray.
And obviously, if you have not done so yet, once this show is over, you can listen to the morning show podcast. But good morning, Carla Marie.
Good morning, Anthony. I have my...
Oh, you have your
I haven't
retro jersey?
opened it
Yeah,
yet.
bring that box out here, actually, because it's really cool.
Can we talk about something first?
Yeah, whatever you want.
I don't know if this is on purpose or not. You still have one of the pimple patches on your
Yeah, I know. I realized I had it on when I sat down because I put it on earlier, and I'm just going to leave it.
I wear them to my workouts all the time.
You can't really see it. There's like a little patch over here.
No, you can't say it because I wear them to work out, and I don't even notice them, and I'm looking at myself in the mirror, and then sometimes certain glimpses I'll get them, but I did a late cancel for my workout this morning.
Okay, well let's get on with the jersey here.
It's a sad day. Okay, so the Kraken, which was so cool, DM'd me on Twitter,
That's pretty cool.
and they were like, "Hey, we'd love to get you a jersey," and I was like, "Oh, okay, oh my god, sure." And then they were we were going back and forth. I was like, "I'll open it up on Twitch," and I was like, "Oh my god, can you send one for Anthony too? I'll surprise him with it." And they were like, "Absolutely." And then they come back and like, "Oh, what's Anthony's last name?" And I was like, "Oh, wait a minute. Just put well, they didn't put anything
On the back, no.
Oh, and I was like, just put worst Anthony. I was like, oh, you probably think my last name is Marie. Don't put Marie on the back of my jersey.
Okay.
So I guess they were just like, we're not giving you guys anything.
Well, it could have been also to ship it.
Yeah.
If they needed our names.
Maybe that's embarrassing now
Why?
because I thought they were putting our names on our jerseys.
Well,
Okay.
let's go on with the unboxing.
So this guy, that's probably why he got it in the mail while I was away and opened it. I was so mad. I was like, dude, that's supposed to be a surprise.
So yeah, I posted a video of me unboxing this because I had no idea this was arriving. And I get a call from Carla Marie. She's like, "Why did you open that box? Blah, blah, blah." And I said, well, it was delivered to me and it had my name on
But
it. How was I supposed to not know? Or how was I supposed to know I was not supposed to open it?
But here's the thing. I found out that he got this by seeing his reel on Instagram.
Yeah.
You should have been like, hey, did you know we were getting something from the Kraken?
Why would if I had something delivered to me by name.
But you didn't know it was coming.
Why would I message you and say, "Did you know this was delivered to me?"
Did you know? Because there was 2 boxes.
Yeah.
Someone clearly set it up. The Kraken,
Anyway, on with the unboxing.
Oh. History never repeats.
It's the little
Reverse
hologram.
retro reboosted.
So this is the reverse retro line for jerseys, which is interesting because with two teams, the Seattle Kraken and the Vegas Knights, there's no real retro jersey option. So they got to just basically do whatever they
that's
wanted.
Cool.
Like all the other teams have been around for a while.
Tassel. This is different. This bean. I can't see what I look like because you got the chat in the way.
Oh, okay. Also, Carla Marie, we are at level 6 of the boost train, so it is time for a shot.
Oh God. This is cool, but I gotta change.
I've never worn a hockey jersey before. Like I never played hockey.
I have.
I think I'm a big fan of hockey jerseys. Out of
We
all the
talked
sports,
about how
out of all the sports jerseys, I think hockey jerseys are the best, without a doubt.
I'm a 44.
I'm a 50, I think, and that was one of the reasons. Like there were cool jerseys I would see in the past, and I never knew how to size it to buy it online.
Yeah.
So I never really bothered with it. But this actually fits
perfect.
like it's like fun to wear a hockey jersey.
I know they were asking me like what size I was, and I was like, small.
And I'm sure there was a sizing chart if I really wanted to look into it to figure out my number size, 44, 50, whatever.
Should I put it on?
If you'd like, yeah.
I have to stand in that corner.
Yeah.
She doesn't look good. The cat.
Let's go one thing at a time here. Let's see. Rebecca in Jacksonville said the jersey itself looks fantastic on you. Thank you. Is it more the jersey or the model? Or is it both? You know? Because sometimes like a really good model can make a subpar item of clothing look better. It's probably the model. Probably the jersey, actually. Yeah, I noticed that. So because these are authentic jerseys, they've got this strap over here. And I guess this is to like hold it down to your pants or something. I don't know. I've never played hockey. I don't know how the pad and the pant system works. Looks good. It looks exactly like the one I'm wearing. Bam. Now we're part of the Seattle Kraken.
That's cute.
I mean, they are basically my new teammates when you think about it, because when we did when we filled in for the hosting duties at the Huskies game, I got to start the game with all of the Seattle Kraken. So those are like my boys now. We have a team picture together.
I did tell them that actually.
What?
When they were DMing me.
Yeah. And the beanie looks really cool as well.
The toque?
Is that what? Yeah, that's right. It's a beanie is a toque in
Canada. I just realized something.
What?
I keep having random flashbacks from Sam's bachelorette party.
Okay.
And when those guys came over to our table who were from Canada and asked us if we knew what these were, they'd buy us a shot. I kept saying Canada to them, and they thought it was like the funniest thing ever. And I was like,
well, all right. Since we did get
all right, this is cool. Now we just got to go to a game.
Level 6 of the hype train, Carla Marie, let's do this shot. Let's get that out of the way.
Part up. Last night, we went to a gin tasting with Seattle Cocktail Club, and it was so good.
Yeah, I learned a lot. A lot of those tasting things, they'll give you like a history lesson of that specific spirit of the company that you're tasting, and then you go through a couple different variations of that spirit, and they'll tell you kind of like the notes of flavors to look for.
So it was Sipsmith gin, and we had a slow gin, which I thought was like the way it was processed when they kept saying it, but it's slow, SLOE, which is a fruit.
Yeah. It's a flavored gin.
Oh, God. There's a story from Sam's Bachelorette on the BAM Wedding podcast.
I think she just reposted your reel.
No, there's a CM story from Sam's Bachelorette on the BAM Wedding podcast.
Let's see what happened.
You're going to listen to the podcast? Are you
a CM story. I thought like the podcast account. Like there's a story with, Instagram stories on the BAM Wedding podcast account. Now, okay.
Now, this is cool. It is kind of weird where I feel like Superman.
With
this is like...
Because it's one piece.
Yeah.
It's like a shield.
Yeah. Captain America.
Here's a question. Did they reach out to you? Well, let me pull up the chat here. Where did it go?
Tacoma Swifty said, did they reach out to you because you work with the Seahawks, or was it just random?
Okay.
I don't know.
Well, I don't work with the Seahawks, so
maybe they were trying to steal me from the Seahawks.
Maybe.
No, all the teams here get along. It's cute.
The S reminds me of Seagram's 7 on the jersey. I could see that actually. Like
that-
Seagram's gin.
Oh, what about ginger ale? That's
Huh?
also Seagram's.
Is it?
There's a Seagram's ginger ale.
I don't really drink ginger ale.
It's my favorite soda. Well,
Oh, and
hot
then
tub.
Wendy wants an update with your SIBO test, Carla Marie, but we'll do that after the shot. So, cheers to you, Carla Marie.
Cheers to Max.
Cheers to you. Cheers to everyone who supported the stream, and cheers to Seattle Cocktail Club.
Caramel apple.
Oh, there was more in that shot than normal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Our goalie jerseys different in hockey like they are in soccer? They're not, right? No, they're not.
They're bigger.
Jolly Russian Buddhist, which is my brother, said, "What if I don't support the stream, but I support you?" Well, that's fine too.
You have a subscriber.
It was probably gifted to him. Oh wait, he's got the 12-month subscription badge.
Because he's probably here every time subs are gifted.
Yeah, probably. Oh, goalie sizes are wide on the arms.
Because they
says
have
Lenny.
more pads.
It makes sense.
Because they're getting
Yeah.
rubber whipped at them.
I mean,
I look so cute in this thing.
it's a good color. It's a good color. So now, on to the rest of the list. We did the jerseys, which is not on the list, but
Oh, SIBO test.
SIBO test, Carla Marie. Explain quickly what that was and what you did yesterday.
SIBO stands for small intestine bacterial overgrowth, and the way to test for it is by blowing into tubes. It tests, I think it's like the methane or something in your stomach, and on an empty stomach to see if it's still there, if there's this stuff going on in there when there's no food. And I had to, upon fasting and all of that, I had to do all that stuff for 3 hours. Every 20 minutes, I had to blow into like this bag, and as I blew into the bag, I had to take a tube that was like kind of closed and pop it into a needle, and it would get the air that I was blowing into the bag, and then it would
And it
like-
seals up when you
and
take
then
it
it
out?
seals up when you take it out.
That's cool.
But also I was like, I feel like, because you can't tell if it's a clear tube, and you can't tell. I was like, I feel like I'm just selling air. Like, this is fake.
People
So,
sell farts.
honestly, I've thought about it.
You can sell air for, I don't know, $3.
So I have to mail it in today, and I wait.
For how long?
I don't know. It's going to sound messed up. I hope I have it. It's an easy thing to fix.
I don't think that sounds messed up. I think when you think something is off and you take a test to see if that's it, you want the results to come back so you at least know what the issue is.
Maybe Max has SIBO.
Maybe. Did she blow into a tube?
Does she seem sick to you?
She seems sleepy.
Okay. Oh,
What,
Lenny
Carla?
said he had to take the same thing, and he drank the nasty lemony liquid. So there's a liquid I had to drink. So you blow into the tube first to get like your plain air. Then you drink lactose, but it comes in like a ranch or hot sauce dressing container from McDonald's.
Mhm.
So, but I had to mix it with water, and it didn't really taste like anything to me.
Maybe-
Oh God,
What? Maybe you did it wrong?
maybe I have COVID.
No, you took a COVID test.
Oh,
Or you took a couple.
I did, because I went to go get my booster and flu chips yesterday in my arm. So I took a COVID test before I went just to make sure I didn't have COVID. And actually, my arm's pretty sore today, but nothing compared to last year when I got both at the same time. And that wrecked me.
Deborah and Augie, the only G, both came into the chat just now and are wondering why we are wearing matching jerseys. And it's because the Seattle Kraken are promoting their retro jerseys, which
So
is
cool.
ironic for a new team to have a retro jersey. But it's like their alternate jerseys, we'll call them.
This fits way better than my Devils jersey did as a kid.
Was it an authentic jersey?
Yes, and I got it signed by most of the players.
That's pretty cool.
I think it's in my closet.
Reverse retro. Sorry. Thank you, Lenny.
Oh.
Oh, and then Sunali
that's
said
it.
she's getting both shots on Monday, Carla Marie.
I did Pfizer this time. We did Pfizer first, right? Our
Yes.
first round.
Yeah.
Then last November I did Moderna, and that wrecked me.
Mhm.
Then this time I did Pfizer, so
Just switching it up.
Getting
Keeping
a
that,
perfect
keeping that
cocktail.
COVID on its toes. So
Oh.
here's what I wanted to talk about. When we are doing another You Look Great giveaway in about 10 minutes, once we're done with this next discussion we're going to have, things we should change about elections.
Okay.
Now, one of the reasons I thought about this was, A, I'm just really tired of the election cycle.
I feel like I have to say, literally, yesterday, the day after. We're like, oh, it's over. And then all of a sudden you hear Joe Biden running in 2024. I'm
Yeah.
like, please give me more than 12 hours to breathe.
Well, on top of Biden announcing he will most likely run in 2024, he'll know in the new year if he's going to sit down with his wife, I guess, and talk about it.
He said that?
Yeah. He said, hopefully Jill and I will be able to get away for about a week around the holidays, and we'll discuss it, and we'll know.
I got to talk to Jill.
But, excuse me. On top of that, there's the rumors that Trump is going to announce his candidacy coming up within the next, maybe within the next 5 days.
It's so
probably
overwhelming.
next Tuesday. And then on top of that, you've got the runoff election in Georgia, so we're going to have to hear about that over and over, especially because that could decide the actual distribution of power in the Senate. And then, as I was going through the ballot over the weekend here in Seattle, so obviously you have your general election stuff, and then you have some of the ballot initiatives, the referendums, the amendments, all of those things. And one of the two of the things actually that we had on our ballots here in Seattle, one was I was a little confused about originally. It was whether or not we should hold elections for certain county positions that are normally chosen on odd years, if we should move that to even years.
Yeah. We were like, yeah.
And I was like, this is kind of a weird thing to be voting on. And then I looked into it. And the reason they want to do that is because the voter turnout during those elections is the lowest out of any elections in the area.
But if you put it with other ones.
And the thought and the research behind it is if you put it with general election stuff, federal elections, bigger things, more people will vote and be involved in the process for your things like county executives that they're not like the sexy positions that everyone talks about, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, that's actually a pretty good idea. First off, we don't need to get all those flyers in the mail all year long and do this again in 11 months, essentially. So let's move it and do it all at the same time. The other thing we got to vote on here in Seattle was ranked choice voting for our local politicians. And ranked choice voting, and I've talked about it on the Morning Show podcast, is what they do in Alaska now. Because in 2020, they voted on a referendum to install ranked choice voting there. And that's what they're doing now. So there's kind of a runoff with ranked choice voting if no one gets 50% of the vote like they do in Georgia. Like, that's what they're doing now. But instead of having to go back to the ballots, fill out more stuff, all of your secondary choices are selected on a ranked choice ballot. So you don't have to go back at all. They already have all your info.
I didn't know about the going back thing until recently.
Yep.
And I think it's absolutely bonkers that we as a country in every state vote differently.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't make any sense. It eliminates all the, Georgia has voter fraud because you got to go at between these certain times and click 4 buttons before you do. Like just everyone do the same. I don't care what it is. Just everyone do the same thing.
Yeah.
So Aubrey, who used to work here with us at iHeart, she was in our promotions department here in Seattle, grew up here in Washington, went on to get a bunch of different jobs in media. Now she lives in Hoboken.
Oh, cool.
And I had posted about how when I first moved here, I was so confused by mail-in voting. I was like, wait, what do you mean I mailed in? I want to go push the button. But I love it now. And she was like, it's so funny because when she moved to New Jersey, she had to go just now, vote in person for the first time. She's like, it was so confusing.
Yeah.
And I was like, I know, because you get in that booth. Can you have paper with you? I don't remember.
Not sure.
Because then you got to I remember being trying to ask my mom questions the first time I went. And they were like, shh, no. And I was like, and then it was hitting it and it wasn't taking.
Yeah.
And I remember I'm like, this is so dumb. And no offense, I know these people are volunteers, but they're ancient, most of them. And they're moving so slow and they don't we got to figure out other ways to get young people in there. Maybe I'm a volunteer next year.
Augustine, who lives in the Netherlands, said, I have one simple question. Why is American politics so complicated? It's a great question.
We're dumb.
And I don't know if the politics are actually complicated. I think the process can be complicated because it's not streamlined around the country. Like you said, I was going through actually yesterday because I said, you know what? For the Morning Show podcast, I think what would be helpful over the course of the next year or two is to know when the deadline for every state is to register to vote. So I found a source that told me,
Yeah.
and I was like, I'm going to keep a note in a calendar to remind, like, let's say, and I think in Florida, bless you. I think in Florida, you have to be registered 30 or 29 days before election day.
Yeah.
So it would be good for us in 2024 to remind the people of Florida, hey, you've got 5 days to register to vote. Otherwise, in this upcoming election,
You don't
you're
vote.
out. Some states you can do it up to the day in person. Some states you can do it up to the day online. It's usually streamlined. The process is streamlined in the state, but it's different from state to state. And Jolly Russian Buddhist, who again is my brother, said the reason all of our laws are different is because technically when this country was set up, it was supposed to be more like the European Union, where the European Union is a bunch of countries that all have this overarching umbrella structure. But what happens in the country, those are the stronger laws. Those are where most of the focus is, but they all work together for the economy, for climate change, for things like that.
So I would need a passport to go to New Jersey?
Not necessarily, because you don't need I don't think you actually need you can travel freely between all the European Union nations.
I don't remember what I had to do when I went to France if I had to get stamped.
So when we set up the colonies, or when we moved from the colonies to being states, those states were supposed to be more or less independent nations that were united, the United States of America. Now our federal government is way stronger than our founding fathers ever really intended it to be. And most of the big decisions are made on the federal level.
I think about all the time if those men came back out of nowhere, like they appeared in their tights and their makeup and their wigs, all of a sudden they were like, why are women wearing pants? And why do you hate people wearing men wearing makeup? Also, what did you do?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about the founding fathers, and I think the documents they created were great, especially for the time that they wrote them in. But they didn't even know dinosaurs existed.
That's like, we were talking about this.
They didn't have sliced bread. They didn't have chocolate chips. They didn't have toasters.
The dinosaurs thing is crazy to me.
Cell phones.
Well, yes. Like, or germs. Well, they did have germs, but they didn't know what was killing them, I'm assuming. They didn't have the amount of germs.
They didn't understand the science behind it.
They had scurvy. They didn't know. Well, they didn't know about germs.
Yeah.
They had germs, but they didn't know about them. Isn't that wild? Like,
it's kind of crazy.
The dinosaur thing is crazy to me.
So to go back here, let's not get into the intricacies of all of that, but things we should change about the elections. Here's my thought. I think, and I know a lot of this isn't like feasible or possible or whatever. What if we had all elections on one day? Right? So we vote for every single office on one day. It's overwhelming, but you'd only have to worry about it once every so many years.
Yeah, but is that much change at the same time bad? I don't know. I have no idea.
I don't know.
Like if I'm voting for my area council member and the president at the same time.
Or maybe we break up just by federal, state, local.
That would make sense.
And those are the only, like
we voted for governor
last election, 2020.
2020. We did.
Yeah, Inslee won in 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
But like all these other states are voting now. Why?
It's just, I think
it is too much.
The mind drain
and
the anger that comes out during election season, I think it just needs to be curbed a little bit. And part of that is doing it less often.
So it would be like saying, I just want to get my period once a year really bad opposed to 12 times.
Yeah. Yeah, basically. And I just don't know if the general population needs the stress of being told you have to save our democracy every year and a half.
And the text messages.
Yeah.
Just give me all at once. I'm going to turn my phone off for a month.
Yeah.
Or that's like having twins opposed to two kids separately.
Yeah. It's going to suck for a while, but at least it's not drawn out.
Can I take a break to blow my nose?
Yeah, go for it. Okay. Lenny said, what about checks and balances? I think we would still have all the same checks and balances if they even exist today. but it would just be a little easier to manage. Oh, I just saw someone type in enter for the contest. Thank you very much for doing that and reminding me that it is now past 8:35, so I will get that contest ready once Carla Marie sits down so that you're not just sitting here watching me type, because that would be pretty boring. No, the contest isn't open yet. Don't type enter. It's not there yet. None of this matters. You're going to have to do it again. Why is everyone doing it? You good?
Yeah.
Did you bring another cat? No. Okay. Well, I need you to sit down so I can get the contest ready, Carla Marie.
I'm just checking on her.
You didn't do anything.
I was making sure she's ready. Oh, this is tag.
You good? All right. Entertain the people while I get the contest going.
Okay. Oh, let's see if the vet responded.
No, that's not entertaining
I
to the
think
people.
They would. Oh, they forwarded my message to the doctor.
And Addie Swan brings up a good point. I think they stagger it so it's not everyone's first day all at once. But if incumbents generally win their elections, it still wouldn't be everyone's first day at once.
No, of course.
Right?
But
Like,
what if
the
there was
chances
a
of
clean
us,
sweep?
the chances of us removing every incumbent position
Right.
and replacing them is almost non-existent.
Okay. Make the thing.
Okay.
I have another question and thing. Actually, not even a question. Thing I would like to remove.
What is that?
Instead of calling it a gubernatorial race,
I love that word.
can we say governatorial?
Nope. Gubernatorial.
Why?
Such a good word.
What? Someone's got to know the answer. I'm not why is it goober?
I actually said in yesterday's edition of the Morning Show podcast, because I was talking about the gubernatorial races, and I actually stopped down and said I just love saying that word.
I remember for the longest time, I think I was saying gubernatorial, like growing up, like whenever I said that word.
Uh-huh.
And I think it was in college that I was like, wait a minute.
Gubernatorial.
What?
It's such a good word.
But why? Like, the semantics of it. What, like...
I don't know. What are you looking up? Because I'm typing. So
Why is it called goober? Notorial.
everyone gets their first ticket for free.
It's so absurd.
And the maximum ticket you can get is one.
Okay. The adjective pertaining to a governor is gubernatorial, from the Latin root gubernare.
So governor is
governor's
really
wrong.
gubernaire. All right. Everyone can enter this contest now. All you have to do is type in exclamation point and the word enter, and you will be entered to win. We were going to keep this open for 15 minutes. We are at the 15-second mark at the moment. So right around 8:55 here on the West Coast, we're going to close this, and you'll have a choice of anything, but we will talk to you after we know that you're here. You do have to be here to win, so that we can make sure that, you put in the time.
If you hit exclamation point enter before now, you have to do it again.
Yeah.
Just repeating.
And it'll tell you if you've entered too many times. You'll get a little bounce back message essentially that says you can only enter once. So good luck to everybody. There you go. See, like Luis it says failed to enter giveaway, too many tickets. That means you're already in.
That means you voted too many times.
Yep.
Voter fraud.
Next on the list. And I think there are, like, moving on from the elections thing.
Yeah.
I read a really good article. Actually, my brother Justin sent it to me. I think it's from Tangle or some subscription that he's got.
Oh, yeah.
And it was just about how a lot of people feel disenfranchised with the election system, right? Because in certain states, it truly is, especially on a federal level, in some elections doesn't matter if you vote or not, because so many people, like in Wyoming, for example, if you leaned left last election and you did not want Donald Trump to win, your vote literally didn't matter. Trump won that state by, I think, 70%. Like, it was his biggest state by far. But what this article brought up was the fact that, number one, it's not just the big national names that you're voting for. There are, like we talked about here in Seattle, a lot of yes or no initiatives that your vote very much matters for. Right? Like in 5 states, they were voting on whether or not to legalize marijuana. 2 of them passed.
Oh, wow.
In 4 states, they were going to add or remove
Slavery.
language about abortions.
Oh, okay.
Protections about
Well,
abortions.
was-
There were 4 states that were doing that. There was one that was another.
Well, it wasn't just language; it was putting it into law.
It was either adding protections
Yeah.
or removing protections
Correct.
from there. So it was changing the language
they-
in the state constitution.
Believe all of those states voted to allow.
In all 5 states where some form of pro-choice, pro-life
Life.
decision was going on, the pro-choice side won
Which is crazy.
in 5 states, which adds to Kansas, which did a special election, I think, over the summer.
And then
So-
slavery was also
Yes, slavery in regards to forced labor for criminal convictions.
they were calling that slavery.
That was on, well, because it's a form of slavery. I think.
Right, but it was in Tennessee because Ricky and I were talking about it. She was like, dude, I
There were
have
a
to
couple
literally
states.
vote if slavery should be in our state constitution.
So, wow, 100 people have entered the contest, by the way,
Damn,
already.
Daniels.
So the idea was, yeah, even if your vote doesn't matter for the big national elections, the big names, your vote usually is going to matter for some of those initiatives.
Yeah.
Because a lot of those pass by like 1 or 2%. It's usually very close. And the other thing to think about, especially today, when you're looking at Iran, where people are literally killed and people are literally governed down to the things that they can wear on their heads or should wear and how they wear it. Then you look at a place like Russia, where if you dissent at all from their leader, there's a good chance you're going to end up in jail or worse. And a lot of this article was saying, yeah, it might not be perfect here. And in certain aspects, your individual vote might not make a huge difference. But the fact that we get to do this every year is a big deal. And we take it for granted because it's all we've known.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Unless you moved here from a place where
Yeah.
you didn't get to vote
But
or
I-
you had a
well,
different type of government.
For me, personally, being a female, I'm like, I mean, there was what year did we get to vote?
In the
white female?
20s,
Like, my grandmas
Right.
were born then.
right
Like,
before Prohibition, because
like
that was
my-
your fault.
Mine?
It was women's fault.
Oh, yeah. My, great grandparents, grandmas couldn't vote.
Mhm.
Like, just because they were females. So I think about it all the time and I'm like, okay, well, I have to vote. I don't take it for granted at all. But
And
Some
then there
people
was
do.
someone that said, I think it was Sunali asked, wasn't it on the ballot in 5 states? I think
don't
you're
know.
referring to the pro-choice, pro-life thing. Technically, abortion itself was on 4 ballots. Michigan, California, Kentucky, Vermont.
okay.
The 5th one was Montana, but that wasn't necessarily about abortion. That was a law about what to do if a child is born super premature or during an abortion process. And what you do, and there's like federal protect, but it was a weird law because there are already federal protections that covered what they were voting on the state level. But that's why I say that the 5 were related to that.
Also, the word abortion gets banned on social media, so you have to say smortion.
What do you mean it gets banned?
Anytime you type it or use it in a video, like the videos get shadow banned. So you have to say, or you ever notice when people are spelling it weird? There's like ABORSHUN.
Okay.
It's because they know that social media
Interesting.
platforms are banning or shadow banning that word.
Robbie Never said, both of my coworkers are in their 20s and could not care less
I'll
about
strangle
voting.
them.
I tried to talk to them about it, but I got blank stares.
Well, you know what? They're idiots.
But also, well, I
Then
mean,
they should leave.
not everyone's going to vote in every election.
No, but they need to go somewhere else then. If you
No,
don't
no.
exercise your
That's
right to
not-
vote, you get kicked out.
No, that's not how it works in America.
It should.
You have the
We should
freedom
do
to
the
make
opposite.
you have the freedom to make that choice in America. But I will say, in most states, Gen Z actually did show up in pretty big numbers compared to other generations around that age.
I did see something that was like by the next election, millennials and Gen Z
Will be the biggest voting bloc.
will be the biggest vote, which obviously that's just how the world works.
Yeah.
And then it will outnumber boomers 2-1.
Well, it's actually not always how that's going to work. There's a good chance that by the time we are
Oh, because we're having
boomers'
less kids.
ages, boomers' age?
The age of boomers.
Age of boomers, thank you. We will still be the largest voting bloc
Because
because
we're having
millennials
less
have
kids.
exactly they
Less
have
kids.
less children.
We have pets, according to the Pope. He ain't wrong.
This is a great one. I think maybe Fred the
It
mailman
was Fred.
posted something about this as well. Jules 1108 said, "My uncle always told me you don't vote, you can't complain," which
Yeah.
is it's such a simple, dumb thing to say, but it's also true. If you weren't part of the process, shut it.
I did see that Fred posted. He was like, just voted. Or was it just something about now I'm allowed to complain for a year.
Yep.
It was something way cooler than what I just said.
Marijuana also said, so Marijuana is my barber Miles. He said, a lot of my younger clients were actually super in tune with what's going on. So I guess
Yeah.
it varies. I mean, you're going to have people in every age group. I'm sure there are people in their 60s that have never voted. Right? And right now, the people who vote the most usually lean older. But I'm sure there's people in those generations that have never voted.
I mean, I'm
They
pretty
just
sure
don't-
my parents voted.
like every single election.
I mean, this last time.
Let's see. And Jess from Minnesota says, I'm considering getting citizenship just so I can vote. Sucks to be impacted by all the laws in the area that you live, but not having a voice. I didn't
Ooh,
even know you
yeah.
did not have a citizenship, Jess.
Germany? No, wait. I'm thinking Germany. Is that where you're from? I'm going to be mad. when
You
it's
can
wrong.
ask her.
I am.
Oh,
That was me.
You weren't asking her, though. You were guessing.
Okay, but also, yeah. I knew it.
German. There we go.
Jess, if you go through the process, keep us in the loop.
Mhm.
I'm very curious.
Moving on. We are going to do the You Look Great drawing. There's still over 100 people here. We can obviously bump that up if you want to enter the contest for a You Look Great beanie, hat, hoodie, or sweater. You'll have your choice. All you have to do is type in exclamation point and the word enter. Now, the gym yeller is the next thing on the list. It's the last thing on the list for today. I talked about this a couple times over the summer. There were times where I would go to the gym, not around the time I normally went, so I would see a whole different group of people. And there was a woman who always had her headphones in and always sounded like she was screaming at somebody.
Yeah, you talked about this a lot.
A couple times, 2 or 3 times over the summer. And then last week, I was in the gym again and she was there.
I want to see if people remember this too.
Does anyone remember what I'm talking about? Do I have to go into any more detail about it? Let us know in the chat.
There were times that you were like, it's crazy that she's having this conversation with someone in public at the gym.
Yeah, so a lot of people are saying
Okay.
yes, they remember.
Yeah, the phone yeller.
And it sounded, and at first I was like, maybe she's got like Tourette's or something.
Yeah.
But the way she was yelling, not that I'm some sort of Tourette's expert, it very much sounded like she was having a very heated argument with someone. Are you effing kidding me? You've got an effing kid, blah, blah, blah. I said, you know what? This woman's going through it. I'm not getting involved. I'm
Yeah.
going to try my best not to stare. But it's also very hard not to look in someone's direction
When they're screaming.
when they make an outburst of any sort.
Yeah.
Right? Like if that person just started doing cartwheels, everyone would be looking at them because it doesn't fit in with what everyone else is doing. Although it's a gym, so do whatever you want. So last week, this woman's in the gym the same time as me as well. And I had to cross by her to get to another station that I was going to. And every time I walk by this woman, bless you,
Thank you.
she usually walks in and everything's very quiet. And then at some point in her workout, she starts yelling. And normally, like I said, she's got AirPods in. So I'm walking by her and she had yelled a couple times. And I tried to like not stare, but also glance over to see if she still had AirPods in. And she didn't this time. I was like, oh, maybe she actually does have some sort of condition, whether it's Tourette's or something I don't
Yeah.
even know about, and just yells things. It's like, man, now I feel kind of bad. Not that I ever like made fun of her. It was all because I
Yeah.
always left that as an option, right? Like maybe there's something that she can't control. But just as I started having a little bit of, I guess, sympathy for the whole situation, she started yelling. This is the first time she's ever done it. Things that I cannot repeat and words,
Sexual?
um,
Derogatory.
derogatory words that I would not repeat here. Mostly aimed at gay people.
Oh my God.
And I ended up, because I started my workout near her before she started yelling these words, I was like the only person next to her when she started
Were
yelling
people
these
looking?
things out. Yes.
Were you
This
like,
time, I wanted to be like, I don't know her. Don't put this on me. Like, I'm not involved in this. And I was so lost, and management hasn't said anything to her, but maybe management also knows she has some sort of condition. Like, it's the things that she was yelling are definitely not acceptable.
And no one went up to her because it's not like she was yelling it at someone.
Exactly.
She clearly, listen, it's
Yeah.
not okay. Obviously, I'm not condoning this by any means, but it's
No,
not like
no,
she
no.
was like yelling in your face or someone's face. She was just saying it. Again, definitely not okay, but something's wrong in there. And and what do you do in that situation? Do you say, "Oh, those people shouldn't be in public"?
No, and that's exactly where my head started going. I was like, well, if she has a condition, which I believe, with all the information I've been able to gather with the 5 or 6 times I've seen her, I think she does have a condition.
Did she say that? Has she been back since?
Yes, I saw her once. She was on the complete opposite side of the gym, and it's a pretty big space. She yelled a couple things. I don't know what she yelled. And then she was gone.
But does she actually physically work out?
Oh yeah.
Is she like ripped?
She's in decent shape. She looks like she's probably like upper 20s, lower 30s ish.
Jeez, I think you need to actually, like Shayna said, bring it up and ask men. Be like, what's going on?
So if the old gym manager was there, my friend Tim, who I knew pretty well, I would ask him, because he worked there for like 9 years. He had a pretty good lay of the land. I don't know anyone really that works there anymore, like not that well. But maybe if there's someone I know. And there was one person I remember over the summer, she was working out near me and she was yelling, and someone came up to me and like kind of made a look like, what the hell is going on over here? And I didn't want to get involved in making looks or anything, or giving looks, because
then what is she
again,
at you?
no, not even that. I don't want to contribute to making this person feel more ostracized than they probably do if they have a condition.
How do you
Right?
like? What do you do in that situation? Like, not you. Like, if you have Tourette's and that is what you do, I mean, that's unsafe for you to be in public because people may not know that. And if you're walking down the street or in public or wherever, start screaming derogatory things, you're going to get your ass beat.
Yes. Yeah. You're screaming the wrong thing in the wrong crowd. Someone can definitely knock you out. And I think someone, I don't know where it was. Someone says like, maybe you should wear a t-shirt, but also does everyone with every condition have to start wearing a t-shirt like a scarlet letter? I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I do want to end. We're at the 15-minute mark right now for the You Look Great giveaway. So that's a great t-shirt you can wear if you just want to let people know they look great. If you have not done so yet, type in ! and the word enter. No spaces, nothing else. Just type it, put it in the chat, hit send. And we will close this giveaway in the next 15 seconds.
Veggie lasagna
Yes.
said, this is Seattle. Most people just ignore it and go about their day.
Yeah, but I think and most people in the gym everyone I should say, did try to ignore it and just like move on. Like, not my problem. I'm just moving on.
But what if she doesn't have Tourette's and she pretends like she does just so she can yell mean things?
Well, that was the only time, and I'll say this again, that was the only day, and I've probably seen her at the gym 5 or 6 times, that it was a derogatory word she was yelling. Now, she would definitely yell the F word, the one that has a U next. And she would, but it always sounded like she was yelling at somebody.
Yeah.
This was the first time it sounded like she was just like nothing. It was incoherent and derogatory.
It's crazy. And like, what if you are like, she's yelling derogatory things, like you said, it was towards gay people.
Mm-hmm.
What if you're at that gym and you're gay and you're working out and you're hearing that? And that's no longer a safe space for you.
And yeah, I'm not at all making an exception for the derogatory term that she used. All I'm saying is I don't know what the answer is if she has a condition.
Yeah.
You can't kick her out of the gym.
Well, you can, because you can't yell those things there.
And if someone went to management, right? And if someone went to management and said, hey, this person's yelling these derogatory terms, do you think you can step in and say something? And then they go to her and they say, hey, ma'am, you cannot yell that at all here. If you continue, we're going to have to kick you out. And then she says, well, I have Tourette's. You go, oh, okay. Like, I don't know what I don't know what the solution is. I wish I did. All right. The 15 seconds is up. I'm going to end the giveaway. Where's the end button? Close giveaway.
I can't see the name who's saying it. They're like, I see homeless people yelling stuff like that. Yeah, if it's someone on the street, it's different than someone being inside of a business, right? When you're in the
Yeah.
street, you're in the public street, that stuff shouldn't be yelled, but
Yeah.
you are outside in the public. But if you're paying to be in a place that no longer feels safe because they are letting in people that are yelling things, then that's wrong. There's a tag on this.
You just realized there was a tag on there?
I know it's on the jersey.
No, that's not what I want to pull up the. There we go. Giveaway. Let's transition to here for one moment.
Yeah, pale girl can't draw said, I know these days we're hesitant to go to a manager,
Mhm.
but I'd go to management this time for sure. You pay to be there. All right, Anthony, next time you got to do it.
There we go. Now it's up. Okay. Transition. We're going to take a quick break from that conversation, and everyone sees the screen now. I'll give everyone a second, and we are drawing our winner. Just want everyone to know that this is all on the up and up,
Huh?
It's all on the up and up.
I don't
You
think
ever
you
heard
used that right.
Yeah, I did. Did I?
No.
English isn't my first language.
What
leave
are
me
you
alone.
trying to... Did you call the winner?
Yeah, the winner is
Cardi? Cardi Giacomo.
Cardi Giacomo, something like that.
Cardi Giacomo. Hold on.
What?
On the up and up?
Yeah, it's on the up and up. It's like
Tell me what you mean.
it's Oh, there. Okay, no wait. Didn't say. Hold on. We need to make sure that we have our winner. I'm pretty sure I said it's on the up and up like properly. Oh, okay. So Cardi Giacomo is in here. Hopefully, we're saying your name properly. Go ahead and email us right now. hello@carlamarieandanthony.com.
Okay, you're right.
hello@carlamarieandanthony.com. That way, we can figure out what you need. And if we got some things that don't have any sizes, what?
Good.
We also have things that do have sizes. So we'll talk to you instead of wasting everyone's time figuring that out now.
So you were correct.
Okay, so explain what it means, because I can't really define it.
On the up and up means honest or legal.
There we go.
Investigators wanted to make sure everything we did was on the up and up. But if it's British, it means steadily improving or becoming more successful. I clearly was thinking the British one.
No, you weren't.
Yeah.
The other thing people use instead of on the up and up, and maybe this is like more of a New Yorker thing, people will say kosher. Even though that's not obviously what kosher means, but people use it in that same vein. Which I wonder if then in like Middle Eastern cities, if people are like, yeah, it's all halal, don't worry. Which I don't think a lot of people would get that joke if you don't understand what halal is or if you're Middle Eastern. But
Okay, so pause. 2 things.
okay, Audrey, this actually is in the Netherlands. He said, I use kosher all the time.
Okay, so we have to talk about this, that it is Martha's son, Zach. He turns 8 this weekend.
Okay.
In Kansas, which is crazy that he turns 8 because she just said, Carla Marie, it's been 8 years since we first talked on the phone. I called Elvis Duran in the morning show on my way to give birth, and you put me through to Elvis. I just got chills. Happy anniversary. Oh my God, 8 years. Happy birthday, Zach.
Happy birthday.
It's been a pleasure to be a part of your life before you were born.
We don't even know if Zach is watching right now, but
Wait.
I'm sure this can be replayed later.
You know what's wild?
What is wild?
Is that when Martha called, right, 8 years ago,
Yes.
and said, I'm going to labor. In that moment, if someone would have like freeze the world, like pause, in 8 years, that kid is going to model for a clothing apparel line that you have with Anthony while you're living in Seattle. I'd be like, you're dumb. Like,
You never know. You never know where this crazy world is going to take you.
that means in 8 years, we're going to be
What are you doing to your head?
billionaires.
What are you...
Because we're going to invent something so cool.
No, but here's the thing. No one told you that this was going to happen 8 years ago. So just by saying it's going to happen
I'm putting it out
doesn't
there.
necessarily mean it. Yeah, life is a wild ride. Life is a wild ride. Did I ever think I'd be living in a house with 4 cats? Nope. I didn't, but we got
I did.
one over there. So what's the deal with Max? You going to take her to the vet? So and that's
see what the vet
that's the
says.
reason, by the way, we were late this morning, is Max had thrown up, so it just threw everything off a little bit.
Well, we left Elvis 2016.
Yes. We started our road trip February 5th, 2016.
And I think I recently realized that I have, this is nuts, officially lived in Seattle longer than I worked for Elvis Duran in the morning show.
Yeah, it's pretty
Worked
crazy.
there full time, not kind of my internship, which I can do the math, but.
I have not. Well, I guess for Elvis, I started with Elvis in 2009, and I left in 2016. So that's 7 years. So I have not passed that threshold yet. But close. I'm getting there. I'm almost. Next year will be even time.
Isn't that nuts?
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Let's see. Bree from AZ said, listening to you guys say goodbye on Elvis, I cried my eyes out.
I remember Elvis after one of the breaks. So a break is when you're on the air.
Mm-hmm.
Pulled me and Danielle inside and was like, "You guys got to stop crying." He was like, "I get it, but you've just been crying all morning, and people don't want to hear crying all morning." We were laughing. We're like, "Okay," and we were able to hold it in a bit together.
All right, it is time for us to get out of here. Thank you very much for hanging. Be here on Monday. And, I talked about this in the Morning Show podcast. We are doing an experiment. We want to make sure that everyone's getting our newsletter, especially coming up because, with the holidays, things are going to be a little different. We're going to have some announcements. If you have not signed up for our newsletter, do it today. If you go to themorningshowpodcast.com, there will be a link in today's blog post. If you listen to the podcast, it'll be in the description there. Make sure you sign up because Monday morning, a newsletter is going to go out. And it's a pretty big newsletter. But we want to make sure that everyone who has signed up knows that there is a email coming out on Monday. And then you can let us know if you A, received it, B, received it, but it went to your spam, or C, did not receive it at all.
Yeah, on Twitch, please don't respond to that email. We're going to get 6,000 emails in our inbox.
Okay. Well, no. Okay. If
Well,
they
we
didn't
don't need
receive it,
people
though,
being
they're
like, "Got it."
that's fine.
That's going to be, we'll never get any business done.
We'll talk about it on Twitch. We'll talk about it on the podcast. So, I didn't tell people to respond to an email.
You said, "Let us know if you get the email." Now, if someone said that's me, I'd respond with, "Got it."
Okay. And then you just hit delete. It's fine. It's okay. There's no need to overreact like you are like a hawk on the email. Relax. It's okay.
Amanda said mine always goes to spam. Well, you know what we'll also include is there's a link for Gmail, or it depends, it lists all the platforms on how to whitelist an email address and make sure it doesn't go to your spam. And it's different for every email platform that you have. It's crazy. This is like a thing that everyone deals with. It makes no sense.
And Jen, thank you very much for putting the newsletter link in there. Also, if you're watching this on YouTube, I believe, Carla Marie, you will have a link in the description of this YouTube video.
Yeah.
There.
Down there. Yeah, so we're going to have an announcement Monday, and there are some things you peeps have been saying in this chat today that may or may not be true about the announcement.
And that's why you follow along with the newsletter. We will see you Monday. Peace out.
Cub Scouts.